Hello, everybody. I'm Ran Northam, the Communications Manager for the Town of Chapel Hill.
And I'm Maurice Jones, the Town Manager for Chapel Hill.
So the Town Council recently held its final meeting before the summer break, and the Council will return to meetings in August. One of the items recently discussed by Council since we last provided an update was the results of the Reimagining Community Safety Task Force. This task force was formed by the Council in 2020, now a year later, presented its initial findings to the Council. And a line I think we heard, especially here towards the end of this, is that now the work truly begins for what was developed by that task force.
Yeah, Rand, the council, as you mentioned, formed the task force last fall. Task force has been working really hard to come up with some good recommendations for council to consider and for the organization to consider in the future. At their more recent meeting, when they presented their recommendations, presented 28 recommendations with 31 action items, with the intent of presenting that to the council and to the public, but then coming back and really diving into the details in the fall when the council returns for our next season. We'll have a work session with the council later on this year, and that will begin the next phase of this effort. A lot of this work, there was some good work that was done on the part of the police department and the organization, our Town of Chapel Hill, about a year ago in the aftermath of George Floyd's homicide, and then the council passing a resolution for how we would like to move forward to address issues of equity and community safety. And the task force has come up with some really good ideas for moving forward, including supporting street outreach for folks in our community, finding different ways to address the needs of those who are in need without necessarily having to utilize the police department in order to do so, continuing to support our crisis unit in our police department. So some really good ideas for us to move forward. I think the task force did an excellent job of really diving in deep into community safety here and giving us a roadmap for moving forward. And we look forward to continuing that discussion with members of the task force, of the community, and our organization later this fall.
In the most recent meeting that the council held, council enacted some ordinance changes regarding noise, garbage, trash, refuse. This is something you presented to the council, and some of these violations really did carry some fairly heavy penalties, not just financial or civil, but something that could impact someone long term. I know that this is something the town staff has been working on for some time now, with more work with this idea to come from it.
Yeah, this directly addressed an issue the council and some folks in the community were concerned about when with criminalizing what are relatively minor infractions, and very specifically in this situation, noise and garbage. And so what we've done as a staff and brought to the council for consideration was to take out the criminal penalties, which were upwards of 30 days in jail for some of these charges. They were misdemeanors, to remove those misdemeanors from the ordinances and put penalties in place, fines in place that would escalate for repeat violations. But the council and our organization felt that it was really important to decriminalize some of these offenses. And then once council approved that, there was an interest in moving forward and looking at other infractions and violations within our ordinances that could be changed in the future to once again decriminalize some of these violations. So we'll continue to move forward there with that and bring that to council in the future.
In this council season, the council heard from a number of development applicants and completed a lot of that work. The most recent of those will be along Estes Drive and got a lot of public feedback. The Aura development, University Place, a lot of work coming to that area and a lot of time put in by town staff and the town council to get those projects complete during this session.
And the public as well. We spent a lot of time with the public, not only directly through public information meetings, but then also our advisory board spent a lot of time and energy on these two projects, the Aura project and the University Place project, in addition to the many other development projects we took on during the course of the last year or so. And in both those situations, because of that public input and because of the questions that I think our council asked, we ended up having better development projects coming out than we had going into the processes. So we encourage folks to continue to be a part of this process when development projects are coming forward. I know the council really appreciates the input that they hear from the community and of course our advisory boards, and we'll have many more of those types of projects coming forth over the course of the next 6 to 12 months or so. We've had a number of concept plans that came to council this spring that we anticipate coming back as applications in the fall of this year.
And then lastly, for today's update, the town has access to some American Rescue Plan funding and recently discussed that as part of the Revive funding plan. Council really dove into the numbers to make some conscious decisions about where at least some of that money should go.
Absolutely. The town has committed $650,000 out of $5.3 million that we've received thus far from the American Rescue Plan to help with economic and workforce development here in Chapel Hill. We felt we needed to get that approved before the end of the spring season in order to begin work on those projects pretty quickly. And the council will be coming back in the fall to discuss the rest of the money, the remaining funding that we've received through ARP, have a discussion with our staff and with the community about how we'd like to utilize those funds to help Chapel Hill. But that $650,000 will go towards providing some assistance to our businesses, especially our small businesses that have struggled during the pandemic and are just starting to get back on their feet, to help them get stronger as they're moving forward. We've also put some money into marketing to help with folks in our community to advertise for the types of businesses that we have here and to try to get folks to come in and start taking advantage of those wonderful small businesses that we have in Chapel Hill. And then in addition to that, we put some money aside to help with workforce development as well, providing folks with the skills they need to be competitive for the jobs that are available in our community as well, that pay well and provide good benefits. So those are some of the really important initiatives that $650,000 from the ARP money will go into to help support our Revive program here in Chapel Hill.
As always, these are just a few of the updates that Council has discussed in recent meetings. Again, the Council's on break until August. That doesn't mean that local government work is not continuing on this summer. You can stay connected with town news on our website. For the Town Manager Maurice Jones, I'm Ran Northam. We ask you to continue to please spread kindness, not illness. And as always, thank you for watching.
Take care.